All right, let's talk about a guy we haven't really talked about that much, Odell Beckham Jr., who is now playing in his second conference championship game. Remember, he won a Super Bowl with the Rams, trying to win a Super Bowl with the Ravens here. And there's a reason why we haven't talked a ton about him. I mean, if you look at his stats the last 4 weeks, it's not like he's been the guy lighting the world on fire, right? Now, he did have a good game just before I cut this off against the Rams. He had 97 yards there. So it's not like he, has never come in and done anything for the Ravens. At times, he's shown real flashes of being who he once was, right? And I wonder if in this game where, Kansas City, they like to play their man coverage. I brought up this chart in an earlier video, but to me, this is kind of exactly why I wanted to make this video, which is why I'm bringing it up now, is you see Odell, he's the second guy on this list. And what these categories are, it's yards per route ran versus man, PFF grade versus man, yards per route ran versus zone, and then PFF grade versus zone. You see kind of the two man killers in this situation. It's Odell and then Isaiah Likely at the bottom. Those are the two guys. I mean, a 2.45 yards per route ran against man is actually great. So even this season, which has been a quote-unquote down season, that's still really good. And, he's still been respectable in zone. And in fact, we could even talk about a zone play. Like something like this, again, it's in that Rams game I brought up where it's going to be zone coverage, and you see his route. Okay, again, kind of turns into a one-on-one matchup weirdly, but the fact that it is zone is going to really come into play here. Watch as when it begins. Lamar actually starts off this play looking elsewhere, but the corner that's covering Odell definitely moving further in. Odell has a really good feel for zone, and he notices this. Watch him kind of move around, and he's going to actually get wide open on this play. Not saying this is going to happen a lot, against the Chiefs or anything like that, but just that, he does have still a good feel for this. And I do think the Chiefs, they might play a good amount of zone coverage in this game, actually. I think I would kind of recommend them playing a lot of zone coverage, and definitely, if they do, Odell could still be a factor. But, again, let's go back to that list. Right here, you see, Odell has a 1.9 yards per route ran. So does Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews, who looks like he might be back, he has a 2.3 yards per route ran. And even, Bateman and Likely have done all right in that situation. But really, in man, he is the guy. He is their number one receiver in that situation. No one has more yards per route ran. No one has a higher PFF grade, which is why I'm mostly going to be talking about, can he win some one-on-ones? And going over here, the answer is, well, he has, certainly, and he has in a Ravens uniform. I mean, again, back when he was with the Giants, you just wouldn't leave him one-on-one, right? With the Browns, you sometimes would and sometimes you wouldn't. And then, with the Rams, you had to leave him one-on-one because Cooper Kupp was on the field as well. And Cooper Kupp usually, still could get open. But then Beckham was winning those one-on-ones. Now here, he's back to being the number one receiver. And again, he hasn't won every time. But let's see what he does here against DJ Turner, who, again, not exactly Jalen Ramsey here, but still, one-on-one matchup. See the route on the screen. Watch what happens. As you see, Odell is going to take the snap. He is going to look down to, Odell's going to take the snap. Lamar takes the snap, throws down the field, and you see Beckham is wide open right here. So, okay, this is what you want to see. Now, again, this isn't exactly the, top tier matchup. Beckham also, when he makes the catch, makes a nice move after it because he's Odell Beckham Jr. That's what he can do. But, also, it is worth mentioning, I think, that, L'Jarius Sneed has had a great season for the Kansas City Chiefs. So, for the Ravens to kind of go into this and say, we're good, we got Odell, obviously that's not how they're going to think. My question is, can he just win at times here in this situation? Who has the matchup advantage? And one thing I think about with Kansas City is they do like to play physical. Like something like this is an example of what can happen when you play physical against Odell. So it's going to be a one-on-one matchup, and you see Odell's route on this one, which is, again, a pretty good route against this coverage. Definitely something that can get open. The defender for the Rams is Ahkello Witherspoon, and watch what he's going to do against Beckham. As you see, he's just not afraid to make contact. Not a lot of contact, but a little bit. Don't allow Odell to just run by you, right? Make it difficult on him. And now Lamar is looking over. He wants to make this throw. But you see, Witherspoon is able to kind of clog that up. Was there some contact? Sure. If the refs are really calling it ticky-tacky, could that get called? Perhaps. But I definitely think that Sneed is someone who, I would advise him, hey, don't be afraid to get your hands on Beckham in this one. I think that's what you have to do, and I think that he won't really have an issue with doing that, which I think might be, again, a key way to try and, win this matchup. If you look at some stats here for L'Jarius Sneed, it's actually pretty interesting. So, corner stats in general are really difficult. So much of it is team dependent that trying to figure out, any stats, nothing does a great job. I did a video on this a while back. PFF grades actually are the best indicator when it comes to stats with corner, but nothing is great. But I was just curious, how does Sneed do when they play man versus when they play zone? Because again, a healthy dose of both the Kansas City Chiefs play. So his passer rating when he is in man is just a 53.4 against. I mean, wow, what a great passer rating against. PFF grade is sub 50. I don't know what's going on there. I really don't. Because his zone, that makes sense, right? Still a great passer rating against of 78.3. His PFF grade 78.7. Okay, yeah, sure. Good grade. Good passer rating against. The man coverage stuff is weird. I don't know if PFF would probably say he's been lucky this year. But again, I should reiterate that it's not like PFF grades are the Bible, right? I mean, definitely, well, I think a lot of people online just seem to get annoyed at them without even really understanding what they are. Usually what this means is that there have been moments where he's gotten beat and the opposing team hasn't burned him on it, which is possible. I don't know. But another interesting factor is I keep talking about this as a one-on-one matchup, but that's not really how coverage works, right? Football is a team sport, and as much as we try to turn it into one-on-one matchups, it will never be a game of purely one-on-one matchups. An example like this is a good one where, okay, you have, L'Jarius Sneed is actually lined up on Jalen Waddle on this play. Oh, okay, interesting. Lined up against a very good player. Well, let's see how he does in this pure one-on-one matchup, right? Well, look at those two safeties right there. Here's where things get really interesting to me for the Ravens, is the Chiefs like to play two safeties. L'Jarius Sneed is used to playing with two safeties. I'm not saying he can't play one-on-one. Of course he can. He's done a great job at that. But this is what he's done all season. You can't really play two safeties against Baltimore, right? Because if you do, the Ravens run the ball so effectively, you're basically going to give up 8 yards at least every single play. So you almost have to put one safety into the box, and that could create some one-on-one matchups. And that's why I think things get really interesting in this game, and why I'm kind of wondering, can Odell win? You can throw it up to Odell 4 or 5 times, and if he only wins on one of them, that might still be enough, because I do think both defenses are really good in this game, and I do wonder if it's like, listen, you don't need Odell to come in and be prime Odell. You really don't. Can Odell come in and just be solid? I think that's totally possible. At the same time, think about L'Jarius Sneed. Hey, Chiefs fans were upset he didn't get the All-Pro honor, which, it's hard to argue with the two guys that got it, in my opinion. But again, you want to prove that you deserve it? Well, don't let Odell beat you one-on-one. And I keep saying Odell, it is possible it could be someone else. Like, there will be times when Zay Flowers is lined up one-on-one on him. There will be times when Rashad Bateman is lined up one-on-one, even Nelson Aguilar, right? Like, that will happen. At the same time, though, I do think the Odell thing is the more likely thing to happen in a man coverage one-on-one situation. Again, I mentioned the stats. Odell's been great against man this season. But, again, L'Jarius Sneed, depending on what stat you want to use, his passer rating against is in the 50s. So it's not like he's been a easy pickings there either. So should be a really unique matchup either way. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.